Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosa Psych Investigator. Hello. Everybody, welcome. Rosa Psych Investigator. So, guys, it's 11:49, p.m. Almost time for Cinderella. It's almost midnight. Almost time for Cinderella. Uh-huh. So here I am. No, just kidding. So let's do protection. I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good, only the good, and so it is. So, okay. So, how do I explain this? So there was a big video on yesterday, right? And yesterday, yeah. So it was just big developments. And then today something congealed as I was looking at the news. So let's just look. I just want to show you a few things related to the meeting. And also, there's a meeting tomorrow that I want to just get a feel for before it happens. And I also want to say, did I do the protection? I always get confused. Do I have Alzheimer's? Maybe. So, okay. So, and also to mention, I feel like I have to say this every video. People constantly say either, oh, is Jeffrey Epstein a double? Is it dead or this or that? Or like, is Putin a double? I don't give a flying F about this. I think this is whether it's like it's disinformation. Basically, you have to focus on the meeting and the fact that Trump is a traitor. All of this to me, whether and I know that some credible people are like, oh, he really, and it's frankly, look at the Kardashians. If this were true, none of the Kardashians would be real people. It's called plastic surgery. Okay. And you can look up Putin plastic surgeries that a lot of plastic surgeons will look at. He has had implants, he had cheek implants and such, with fillers and such. Okay. So just look up the name plastic surgery. Okay. And again, I'm not interested in comments. I delete all comments about this, whether it's Epstein or Putin. It's just BS. And again, to me, I'll say it, it's an excuse from people that are either uneducated or deliberately pushing disinformation. That's just, it is what it is. Okay. I understand that there's people that usually are very credible, but we have to think of the American context here. We have a traitor in the White House, and that's all that matters. Okay. Whether the guy was like, look like this or look like that, that's not the point. The point is the point, which is the situation is very dire. Okay. We have to focus on it. Okay. All right. So that's my rant for the moment. Now let's go to, I saw this Karoline Leavitt reaction. Okay. And it's one of those days when a lot of different things connect. Okay. So let's go to it. All right. Okay. So, uh, okay. And just one more thing. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Just again, just going back to my rant really, if you, and again, if you want to discuss the whole whatever double, go, there's hundreds of channels that talk about it, go talk about it there, not here, because I don't care. All right, so here it is. Now this has come out on the day of, this is about Karen, is that her name, is, am I spelling correctly? Lea. Okay. So on the day of the meeting, it was reported that she was really shocked by she had a shocked face, and this is continuing. So I want to show you this. Okay, okay, here it is. Okay, so MSNBC host Antonia Hilton cited reporting that suggested President Donald Trump's aides may have been frightened by what they witnessed during President's meeting with Vladimir Putin. Okay, and so this is, I'm not going to read into the entire article. It's not the point. Point is that it's kind of interesting here. And and then so the question is, let's see. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Why, right? Essentially the simple question, why? So I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources that I create the good and all the good. And so it is. Okay. So MSNBC host says Karoline Leavitt looked ish and after court meeting. Why? So the story is that she opens the door and or like she came in. Okay, so oh, that's right. I remember that as I was reading about it, they were scheduled to sit there with Putin, and then they were asked to leave. At first, they sat with Putin, and then they were all asked to leave. Okay, so obviously, it may have been a frightening thing, but guys, to us, it's just why don't they just say it, right? Like he's a Russian asset. That's what happens, and Putin is using him, is pushing him. Not because Russia, this is a weird thing. Russia is not as powerful a country as they like to portray. It's all, I feel like, a form of propaganda. But they control the president, right? That's what makes them powerful. And he has to continue this charade. Okay, so why was Karoline Leavitt ashen? I see that she had prepared. She was very prepared for this, and she had kind of mentally rehearsed. And so they said, I see when Putin told her, get out, get the hell out of here now. Something like that. He deliberately treated her poorly as a means to assert, of course, his dominance over Trump. And Trump looked like this. And she had never seen him like this, even with Elon Musk. So, what was it? It's see that she was treated poorly, but it's saying she works for Trump. He treats people poorly, but it's saying, yeah, she actually believed that Trump was a strong man. And then she said, I see her face like this. Wow. And thinking to herself, everything they were saying is true. He does work for Putin. And I do see that honestly, I said this before that I saw this like, vision of a like a manila envelope, like those, those files. Is a manila, is it the word? Those filing files that you have the little tab and slightly open pictures, printed pictures of Trump. So she may have caught sight of this. She knows what's true. I mean, she can't, she can talk about it, right? But she saw it and she knows it's all true. But the weird thing that I find here is actually she actually believed Trump before. So this is that now. So let me pause here because then there's more interesting information here. I wanted to share this with you because it's so perfect. It's sad but true. There was a Metallica song, sad but true, sad but true. I remember this, sad but true, sad but true. Okay, let's setting. Let's setting. Under Donald Trump, taxpayers are buying filet mignon. Oh, hold on a second. For Vladimir Putin and a summer camp vacation for Ghislaine Maxwell while American workers lose their jobs. Perfect, right? Perfect. So, okay. All right. And then what I get here is that, of course, this is just a very bare bones illustration of what has really happened, right? We have arrived at this because many politicians for decades have allowed this to happen when they most likely knew who these people were, right? They knew. Come on, did people not know that Trump was a Russian asset? Suddenly happened like that. Okay, so all right, so that's interesting. And this is from Christopher Steele, who wrote the dossier that was maligned by, remember, by the Russia, so-called Russia hoax. Remember this? Putin predictably ran rings around Trump in Alaska. Welcome back on the world stage. He can tighten his autocratic grip in Moscow and boost his position with the global South, who won't have to fear U.S. secondary sanctions when trading with Russia. Trump, however, gained nothing, okay, which is exactly the truth. And then now it was reported that Trump is now freaking out, having tantrums because of the negative coverage of the meeting in Alaska, because obviously he gained nothing. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about this, and then the whole, like, all the big people that are coming to the meeting with Zelenskyy tomorrow. Okay. So here, Ukrainian intelligence noted that Trump is being overtly aggressive in trying to force Zelenskyy to surrender territory to Russia. It is hinted that it appears to be very desperate and raises the question of why Trump is now suddenly pushing so hard. Why? Why is it pushing so hard? By the way, guys, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't make this mistake because I paused recording and then I realized it wasn't recording. So I feel like if I repeated a thing from Anonymous, forgive me, but it's just this part. Okay, so let's just go to the question. Why is Trump pushing so hard? Photos and then the election information. Really, that's what I got. That's not only does Putin have all the compromise, but truly, to be fair to President Putin, I fair for him. To be fair for him, he gave Trump the presidency. So listen, Brizera, let us be real here. You're nothing. I give you everything. I give you everything. So I expect respect. I expect doing what we want, working for us, because truly your whole life, we give you money, we give you all the money here that you wanted, you needed, you burned the money, whatever. And now you work for us. You understanding? You understanding? So, oh, look, what is in my hair? Something is my hair. It's weird. Rosie has a messy hair, but she puts on so much makeup. She doesn't like brush her hair. It's so weird. Okay. Anyway, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. So, wow. Interesting. So this is that. And it's saying this is also why Karoline Leavitt was so shocked, because she saw the truth about what Trump believes. Okay, by the way, I'm drinking sparkling water, flavored tangerine, 0 calories, very good. So really very good. Okay, so there is one more here. So, and this is preparing for tomorrow. Okay, I'm really excited about it. I don't know if excited is the word, but it's okay. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. Okay. So suddenly, right? So we know that European leaders are coming to meet with Zelenskyy, to meet in the White House. But then wait, I had oh my God, there's somebody. What are his name? Name is Laura something. Sorry, somebody had a list. Okay, here it is. A list of the whole calendar. All right. Wait, where is it? She had the list of, and I should have said, oh, here it is. Okay, so here it is. The schedule for Monday. Okay. So You know what? I should have. Okay, I make a mistake as always. Make a mistake as. Okay, so okay, here it is. A one and two. Okay, so let's share. First, here is the list of. Okay, Tom Nickel here. I'll suggest something went very wrong in Alaska if as many European leaders are coming to Washington on short notice. So it's really interesting. Look at who's coming. Keir Starmer from the UK, Giorgia Meloni, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, Alexander Macron, Rutte, and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. So it's a big hitters, right? And so here's Laura Rosen. This is I want to talk to you about the schedule. I'm so detail oriented. It's kind of weird, but okay. So so you see that at first. Hold on. See, am I skipping something? Okay. So they arrive at 12 p.m. President greets the Ukraine, okay, president of Ukraine, and then there's a quote unquote bilateral meeting. So you see, there's times when Zelensky is going to be alone with Trump, it looks like, and or his crew, his treasonous crew of probably JD Vance. But then you see then that the European leaders come in. So I find it so okay. So I find it interesting. Okay, I find it interesting. So you see all these people are coming really very quickly without like it was not on schedule before. Like they were not supposed to come to Washington. Only after this whole disaster meeting they're coming. So and I saw some accounts suggesting, of course, that the Europeans have information on the 2016 election as well. So they have something on Trump, just as Putin has. But what's going to happen here? Why are they so why are the big hitters all coming on Monday? Okay. So why are all the big hitters coming on Monday? Saying, Rosie, we're defending our territory. We know what this is about. If Putin gets off the hook, we're we're fried. We're cooked too. So see, the reality is Ukraine is holding up the borders, and if he gets away with this, we're all going to have to pay the price. I'm going to tell the trash. We're telling trash, not here, no more. So that's right. So, wow. So what are they? They're saying, no, come at us, trash. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Wow. How I'm betting. So I'm betting. So what's going to happen on the meeting? I see that Trump is gonna comes first with Zelensky. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to concede some areas. You're gonna have to do this and that. And then I see him saying, "Well, he's broken every promise, hasn't he? Do you really believe that? You seem to really believe him." And so Trump is kind of like out of sorts. And then I see the Europeans have a proposal which involves Russia stopping everything, the whole war, which they never do. But it shows me that this was written on Friday, which I think it was. I remember, I think, even talking about it, that instead of letting Trump and Russia decide what happens to Ukraine, we're siding with Ukraine. And they have sovereignty, they're saying, and they're going to be part of the European Union and NATO. And I see that actually Rutte does have info on trash. So okay, so does he? So what happens? I see. But Putin's gonna be upset at me because he said, I said, don't worry, Donnie. Don't worry, Donnie. We're taking care of we'll tax you from him, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's saying that so the Alaska meeting looks bad for Trump, but Monday is gonna look terrible. Even if he tries to humiliate Zelensky, it's gonna look bad anyway. So wow. Interesting information. Interesting information. Okay. That's right. And I see that the whole thing after it, just the whole thing is undone. The entire thing is completely undone. Whatever Putin get the God, I see. I don't see it sticking. And so I have a question here. So because I was thinking of how ridiculous Rubio and all the others look trying to defend this because they were asked. This thing is the press here, as bad as it is, it's not even them um, letting them. They're not getting away with this because it is too strange, right? It is like, why are you gonna let this guy? You know, it's like it just looks so ridiculous. Really, there's no excuse for it, right? That's the bottom line. So So it's saying another humiliating day for, I see that Trump is humiliated by the end of the day tomorrow as well for a different reason, right? Because Europe put him back on his place. And then I see that the pressure from Putin is going to increase, more threats. And I see that Russia television start revealing some information about that they have about Trump. And that Trump will be told about this. And of course, it's going to get scared. I is scared. I is scared. And then I see that let's see. Yeah, I see that it's going to eventually push. I think we're getting closer to him having to go to the military to beg help for President Putin because he has all these images about of me, and it's all fake news, right? It's all fake news. So that's interesting. All right. Okay. So all right. So this is it, guys. I just wanted to come on because there was all this stuff up in the air before tomorrow. Tomorrow, a lot's going to happen. So okay. All right. So let's go. Hey ho, let's go, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys. Bye bye.